Hey everyone, Drew from Monkey's Tropical Adventures here to do another fragrance review on
some affordable alternatives.
So what are we going to talk about? So full disclosure, the fragrances we're going to talk about were sent to me for review. However, I am going to give you my honest opinion. So with that being said, let's do this. Actually, before we get started, why don't you go and hit that like button, subscribe button. After the video, you can always leave me a comment as well. If after the video you don't find anything that you liked about it, you can always unsubscribe, no hard feelings. All right, on with the show. So if you've seen other videos in regards to Alexandria fragrances, you know that I've worked with them quite often. I think they do a great job in making inspired creations as well as making some of their own original creations. They give you a lot of affordable options. You can get a set of their 6 decants that look like this. You can get their travel atomizers, which are the ones we're going to talk about. You get 4 10 ml for $49.99, or they also have 30 mLs and 55 mLs. So a lot of different options for you to try their fragrances, and the ones that you really like, you can get the bigger bottles. The other thing I like is their inspired creations, in my opinion, sometimes do better and outperform the ones they're inspired by. Either they jack up some of the notes, or maybe their oil concentration is a little bit higher. I've seen them out-project and outperform, and that's no bullshit. If you don't believe me, why don't you just put your money where your mouth is, get yourself a set of decants, and put them up against some of those fragrances, and you'd be surprised. So we're going to talk about a couple. The first one we're going to talk about is Bespoke, which is inspired by Creed's Royal Mayfair. Now, I really wanted to like this fragrance. I was excited. I have a lot of Creeds. I've had a lot of Creeds in the past, and I have a lot of inspired Creed fragrances. I had never tried this before, but based on the notes and the story behind Creed's Royal Mayfair, I thought this would be a good one to try. Unfortunately, this fell a little bit flat with me. It opened up with a little bit of eucalyptus and some pine tree. It kind of reminded me of a dated classic fragrance, which I actually enjoy some of those classics. However, this just really wasn't working with my chemistry. It does dry down a little bit with that rose and citrus, so it does soften. You did get a nice little boozy note from the gin, but for me, it was just a little bit too, yeah, it's very dated. That's the way I look at it. It's a dressed up, gentlemanly type fragrance. I think, it's definitely for a special occasion. I couldn't see this, I wouldn't see this working as a date fragrance. I wouldn't see this as a huge compliment getter. And I had read some stuffs on Creed's Royal Mayfair basically stating the same thing, that it was one of those fragrances, either you're going to like it or hate it. I don't hate it, it just doesn't work well for me. So this one, unfortunately, it didn't do much for me. But if you are a fan of the original, I can only guess that this captures what the original was doing, because Alexandria has a history of doing that with their fragrances. So unfortunately, Bespoke just didn't do much for me. I'm sorry. All right, so the next one definitely did it for me. The next one is called Hafez Exclusive, and it is a original fragrance. All right. Holy monkeys. All right. This opens up very spicy, a lot of cinnamon. That's basically what you have going on the most in the beginning. So like I said, very masculine, very sexy, very power. No, I'm just kidding. No, it softens up though with some nice fruit and some nice tonka, which I really enjoyed. I'm sorry, not tonka, I'm sorry, tuberose. Opened up with some really nice fruit and tuberose. Tuberose is one of those fragrance notes I actually really enjoy. Being a fan, and Monkey's Tropicals really was my original tropical business where I grew plants. Tuberose is one of those flowers that are used in leis. So if you've ever gone on a Hawaiian vacation or gone to the islands in the Pacific or anywhere where you've been given a lei, oftentimes those really fragrant flowers in a lei are tuberose flowers, along with some plumerias. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely love them. They smell great. So that citrus and the floral notes softens it as it starts to dry down and turns it into this really sexy fragrance. This would be great for a date. This would be great for a special occasion. I think it'd be fine in the office. Like I said, it's a little bit harder in the beginning, but it does fine. It softens up quite fast and turns into this just really, really gorgeous fragrance. So Hafez Exclusive definitely has my stamp of approval. Absolutely love this fragrance. Loved wearing it. It smelled great on my skin. So that was Hafez Exclusive. The next one we are doing is No Apologies by Nasomatto and their inspired fragrance of Pardon. So this, let's go and spray this. This opens pretty hard. This opens with some really dark oud and like a smoky sandalwood and some spices. And it hits pretty hard. Like, I would not spray this. If you're gonna wear this in the office, I'd wear 2 sprays and I would spray it at least 30 minutes before going in the office, if not an hour. It just, you want it to really, you want all those notes to kind of calm down and soften on the skin. And it does soften. It softens with some really nice dark chocolate and some sweet tonka, creamy tonka. And that combination of that really spicy, almost dank oud mixed with that creamy tonka and dark chocolate. Oh my God, it is a sexy, sexy fragrance. Smells so good. It's very inviting, very alluring type fragrance. So this, I would say, wear this on a date. If you're going to a bar and you want to wear something that you want to get noticed, it's got really nice projection. It's got some really decent longevity of about 7 hours. And man, it does some great morphine. Like I said, goes on a little bit hard, which I don't mind. I've got a lot of great oud fragrances that do go on pretty harsh. But man, when it softens with that dark chocolate, that creamy tonka, love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, last but not least, my favorite out of these 4, I'm just going to show you again how these travel atomizers work. 10 ml, pops out. Once you're done, you can rinse this out and you can reuse it. Super convenient. 4 of these, 10 ml, $49.99. All right, so Tom Ford's Bitter Peach. This is Alexandria's Better Peach, and it is actually better. I'm going to tell you why. It's not right on the money, but I'll give you the reason why I kind of like this better. Besides the price tag of a 1.7 ounce going for $3.50 by Tom Ford, you get a lot more out of this. The difference, okay, so difference right up front is Tom Ford is a little bit more syrupy, a little bit almost sweeter. That's where the big difference was between the two. This, I would say this is a little bit drier in the syrupy sweetness. Still a little bit syrupy, but not as syrupy, so maybe a little bit less depth than Tom Ford. But what you get here is the boozy notes, I think, hit a little bit harder, and the longevity. Okay, I tried Tom Ford's Bitter Peach, and I got, I think, a max of about 2-3 hours when I sprayed 3 sprays on my body. I wasn't impressed. It smelled really good, so don't get me wrong there. But for that price tag, you should have something that actually lasts. That's just, I think that's kind of ripping your customers off. And I saw the same thing happen with Lost Cherry. And I've got like Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille and Tobacco Oud in my collection. Those hit hard and last. Tobacco Oud the most, but not like how these were 2 to 3 hours. That's ridiculous. So you've got, I would say, 8-10 hours easily of longevity on this. I sprayed it. It was still all over my sheets the next day. It's all over my sweatshirt after 2 days. So it really does last. I love that boozy note because you got peach, blood orange, heliotrope, sandalwood, rum, cognac, jasmine, vanilla, tonka, and some vetiver. So it is a little bit on the sweeter side. Obviously, it is a unisex fragrance. I would say it leans more feminine. Those boozy notes punch hard. That sweet peach, that tonka, it's so damn sexy. This is definitely someone's getting pregnant from wearing this fragrance. It's really good, and I would wear it anywhere. I think it would do well year round. I think in any type of weather and type of climate, I think it's going to do well. Nothing in really sweltering type heat, but overall, man, is it going to do well. I really enjoyed this fragrance. If I was to buy just one out of these 4, Better Peach, definitely. And then it'd be a toss-up between Hafez Exclusive and No Apologies. Unfortunately, like I said, Bespoke just really didn't work for me, but I would say out of 4 fragrances, 3 out of 4 ain't bad, right? So I really appreciate you guys watching. Why don't you drop a comment? Let me know, have you tried any of the original fragrances? Have you tried these inspired? Have you tried anything from Alexandria Fragrance House? If so, which fragrances have you enjoyed? Which ones have you been eyeing that maybe you'd like to see me review in the future? Drop that in the comment section below. Make sure you check out my link tree below. There's some discounts and some fragrances, some rings. Takes you over to my Instagram page. And I think that's all, folks. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you again for another fragrance review. Take care.